So apologies for the sound quality, dear listener. So this is Chris, and I'm at Quest Hub, and I'm with my good friend Clem. Clem, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. It's a really nice place.
It exists. I talked about it. I can confirm. This time. And so we're just Clem's just got the train down to visit, and I picked him up, which was pretty stressful, but it went okay. And so we're just sitting in Quest Hub now, about to play a game of Kings of War, Clem.
Yeah, 2,300 points to see who's the king of the map, right? I've seen you gave. I forgot my dice, so you gave me the leaded dice that you gave Gad.
Exactly.
Really nice. I expect to roll a lot of double ones.
So a couple of years ago, Gad forgot his legendarily bad dice that meant he actually lost to me at Games of Kings of War. So I've given Clem those to play for the day. So fingers crossed. So I'm playing Clem. I'm playing the Northern Lights, my clash list, because my Trident Realm still isn't ready, even after a week.
Yeah, I mean, you've really lost your pace, Chris.
I'm really frustrated. I really want to play that army now, and it's not ready.
Yeah.
So, yes.
And I brought my goblins with tons of squigs. It's like my 24 army, and that I took to the GT in Warsaw. And we'll see. It's a lot of models on the table, right?
It's a lot of models. Yeah, but I seem to have a lot of models too now you're talking about it.
Yeah.
And so, Clem, can you, you're going to talk me through the army, so may as well talk the dear listener through your army as well, right? Because I think you've done your own thing for goblins, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't want to do the shooty goblins.
I don't want you to do the shooty goblins. Tom did the shooty goblins.
Yeah. And so I wasn't too sure what to do. The main idea was I have a bunch of squigs, so GW squigs, and I just love the models, and so I looked for excuses to use them in Kings of War. And so the list is pretty simple. I have 2 hordes of rabbles, just naked, speed bumps. I have 2 troops of the MUP beasts, like the small, nimble cavalry that are actually squigs in my list. I have the regiment of the unique ones, so the mag ones. They're slightly better, but still not very strong, more glass cannon stuff. And I have 2 hordes of trolls, 3D printed models, because I didn't have the good old stone trolls from GW that I love from my childhood, but they're pretty similar looking.
They look really cool.
And then I have 2 minced troops. I have 2 blasters with fanatics. I think it was pretty cool to do blasters with the fanatics.
So they die and explode.
They explode after doing a crap ton of damage, potentially, if you let them hit you.
Okay.
They do blast d6, crushing strength 4 or something stupid, or 3.
Okay.
Probably 3. I don't remember.
Right.
And they're very cheap, but if they get where they need to go, they can be devastating.
Yeah.
Then I have 2 giants that I used, the giant squigs, I think, like the Mangler squigs, I think they're called.
Yeah, and they are gorgeous models, aren't they?
Yeah, just they look
dynamic.
cool, so that's just why they're here. And I have a Winget to close off with the units. And then the heroes, I have Magua, because it's like the old Skarsnik and Gobla, the metal model that I had when I was 15, that I finally painted. Then I have 2 Wheezes with weakness and lightning bolt. One of them was the inspiring talisman, because otherwise I'm a bit short. And I have the Flaget with the loot of darkness, so Baneshant and Aura Strider infantry, basically, and very inspiring. That's it. That's the army.
Nice, buddy. Nice. And the Winget, is it the shooty one or the fighty one?
It's the fighty one. No shooting. No shooting is for the weak.
No shooting. I think Tom would disagree with that very strongly.
Right. No. Any sensible Goblin player will disagree with that. But I kind of made a point of having 0 shooting in the Goblin lists and still trying to make it work. And it obviously isn't the best army out there, but it actually can do some stuff. Like I didn't lose all of my games at the Warsaw GT where the level was pretty high, actually.
Yeah.
So it can still do something. It's not the best army out there, but it can do something.
But also, we're not looking to play the best army.
No, that wasn't the idea. It's just I wanted to have Squigs and the Mantic Kings of War army, and that's what it is.
And it's it's pretty much what I've done as well, right? Because it's just telling the story, right? But Clem, the table looks beautiful. So we're going to play, hold the scenario, hold the line.
No,
we're
not. We said stockpile.
Stockpile, that's it.
Slightly different.
Just testing.
We're testing new stuff.
So this was at the GT, and this was the one I played against Goblins with Tom.
There you go.
So he held his rabble had this token, although if
Right.
we'd have had an extra game, I can't remember if it went to turn 7. If we had an extra turn, my Hearthguard would have minced that and picked up the token. The one in the middle, my Naiads were heroically holding on to it. And then there was the one over there, I got back a bit, but everything that tried to pick that up was just getting killed. So I kind of had the territory, but everything that went there was just getting shot off in one. So, including the Hearthguard regiment and the horde of human clansmen just got one-shotted by the shooting. It wasn't even it wasn't even all of his shooting. It was like 60% of the shooting. Yeah.
That's what you do.
So it was brutal, but it was such an exciting game. And it was quite a similar table, actually, and his mincers came round here, and I charged it with Hearthguard, which was a hindered charge. We only did about 4 wounds. I thought, okay, they're definitely dead. And then he completely whiffed the mincers' attack. They really...
Yeah,
I think
sometimes
did
they can
like
mess
4
up.
wounds or something.
Yeah.
And then we've got Fury anyway, so even if he rolled double 6, we were still... And then we took it off in the next combat, which I was very surprised. I was frightened of those mincers all game, and they were slowly coming round like do.
They're slow, but yeah. That's scary.
But thank goodness. But they were giving me nightmares. But yeah, it was it really was one of the best games of Kings of War I've ever played. So
Nice.
yes, here we go, Clem.
Do you want to say anything about your list?
Oh yeah, right. Yes.
Maybe.
So this is my Northern
I can
Alliance
see it
list.
on the
I took to
table,
the
but-
GT. So
I
this
see a
is
horde of clansmen.
Horde of Clansmen,
Horde of Naiads.
Horde of Naiads with the Hammer and Motion Force. 2 regiments of the Hearthguard upgraded heavy
Lead of
infantry
Madness,
regiments.
Blessing of the Gods.
Exactly. Two troops or regiments of Snow Foxes for chaff, obviously.
As you do.
2 regiments of the Pack Hunters with the throwy spears, 12-inch
Nice.
piercing one. 2 regiments of Dwarves just to hang in there, not die.
Nice.
And then Mr. Flappy Bird, who's the hero on the seagull.
Right.
And 2 healers, one of which has Shroud of the Saint. So one's got heal 7, one's got heal 5.
Right.
And then I've got a little hero with the Ordered March.
Nice.
And then the other one...
Clarion on the horse.
The Clarion, yes. So he's important because he gets to pick a thing and go, that's frozen this turn, within
Nice.
9 inches.
Cool.
That's my main way of getting things frozen. And that's, so it's a fighting army.
There's another hero.
Yes,
here,
he's got, so he's inspiring with a Rally 2 aura.
right? Ooh.
Yeah,
Rally
so that
2 for
was
everyone?
super important for everyone. Yeah, Rally 2.
Nice.
Yeah, juicy stuff. So he's super important. The Order of March aura I thought would be super important. The dwarves have it baked in their rules,
Yep.
and it literally never comes up. So I'm not playing it right or it just doesn't fit. But he's still a cheap.
I'll give you
source of
advice
inspiring.
after the game.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Sounds
There
good.
we go. Yeah, there we go, do this now. So, Clem, I think we play a game and then come back.
Yeah, we'll play a game on the clock. Very competitive.
Yes, absolutely,
And
yes.
we'll have a blast.
But I think it's just a cool idea just to keep us honest for time, because otherwise
No,
we'll
I
take
like it.
4 hours for the
No,
game.
people think the clock is competitive. I don't think so. I think it's just it's a cool dimension of the game, and it doesn't have to be a competitive angle at all. It's part of how you play it.
Hey, I learned something really interesting. So when me and Fred played, so we were quite late. One of the reasons of which was I wanted Alessio to sign something during the game. But he told me about Oslo rules. Mm-hmm. So I hope I'm getting this right, Fred. So basically, if you're going to clock out, you can, in your current or your next turn. So let's say I clock out when it's on my movement phase. Mm-hmm. I can pick one of the phases of my next turn to do in full. So you basically clock out, you stop the clock. You don't worry about that. So it's my turn, and let's say I'm in the movement phase. I can decide: do I want to do movement, combat, shooting? Mm-hmm. And I pick one, and I just play that out properly, and then that's the end of the turn.
Nice.
So obviously, if you pick combat, if you want to try and kill something, shooting, obviously, or movement, if you want to try and move on
Position
points.
someplace.
But you can only pick one of them, and you don't stress. You just play it out
Right.
in a relaxed way.
That's good.
And I thought it was really cool.
That's nice. Well, let's not clock out, and then.
Cheers, buddy.
All right.
This is Ronnie Renton, and you are listening to the Mantic Universe podcast.
Hey, this is Ash Walker,
And Zakama 13.
And you're listening to the Mantic Universe podcast.
So much universe, so little time.
So, Clem, we are still in Quest Hub, and we've just played a game of Kings of War, buddy. What happened?
Just finished. I think the goblins, make, in French we say they made olive oil with their butt, like squeezed their butt cheeks. Turn 3, I was really in a bad situation. I think your Earthguard just crushed through my line and hurt a bunch of stuff. You got a very unlucky double one, right? I think that was a big turn in the game. Which unit got the double one again? It was against the giant, right?
Yeah, it was against
like
the
a 20
giant.
wound on the giants. It's stopped your Earthguard from going around and murdering more stuff.
Yeah, so if we didn't double one, I could have faced the other giant, so you'd have only got 10 attacks in the front. Instead, we had 30 attacks from 2 giants.
Exactly.
Can't
yes,
survive
yes.
that, and then at that point, my
From
center,
there, yes, that would
my
just-
center then collapsed. I think actually after that, there was still a chance where we were actually. It was. I think the key, Clem, was actually you put weakness on the Hearthguard regiment here.
Yes, no, that's where
We
it really
still had a
turned.
really good chance to win, I think.
Yeah.
And then the weakness meant we, instead of hitting on 3s, we're hitting on 4s. And
Wounding.
Wounding, right. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
wounding. And that made a huge difference. So we did a slightly disappointing number of wounds. And then I had to roll a 7 twice. I got it the first time and didn't
Not
get
the
it the
second.
second time.
Yeah.
And that's Kings of War, buddy. So well played. You played really well. Really tight with your angles. Played really nicely.
You had a very strong center. I had a bit more stuff on the sides. So my plan was to take my left side and kind of abandon the right side. But I was more lucky on the right side, I think.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to push a bit more with the snow foxes. So that just let me position a bit better, probably, I think. So if I would say the main thing that you could have done differently is you should have won the right side.
I misplayed that side.
Probably
Yes,
the
yes.
snow foxes could have blocked my units because I got double charges that kind of let me do more damage. Your snow foxes could have done more, I think. Otherwise, you really just got a flank with the Flappy Bird on the giant that really made.
He was great, wasn't he? It was really great.
It was awesome, yeah.
With the snow foxes, I think you're right. I totally misplayed that. What I was hoping to do was how you charge me and then snow foxes just run behind you was my plan. But you lightning bolted one off. You just did a couple of wounds. They weren't in inspiring range.
Yeah.
And then you got the second one as well. So
in
it
many
didn't
with
work. What I
yeah.
was planning on just didn't work, basically. So
Yeah. But otherwise, the Naiads got a bunch of wounds, and the amount of heal you have on the Earthguard is really scary. I think it's a nice combo. It really works well. They've done crazy amount of damage as this unit does in general.
Yeah. It's just when things are looking rough, you can put out so many wounds on one of your key pieces, right, Clem?
Yeah, I mean, you've one-shot patrols in the front, right?
Yeah.
You've one-shot troop of mincers in the front as well.
Yeah.
Like you've one-shot 2 units just on the charge.
Yeah.
No worries. And I've done some damage on them, but still with healing, they got back to 0 until the triple charge from a flank and a rear.
Which nothing can survive.
Yes, nothing
in the
should
game.
survive, I would say.
Right, exactly.
Unless a double one, obviously.
Yes,
still.
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah.
But there we go, buddy. But it was such an exciting, pretty quick game as well. It feels like we've been playing for 10 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, we still have 10 minutes on the clocks, right? So, we played in an hour and a half almost.
And I loved our decision to play on the clock because it just kept things moving. I really like that.
Yeah. I think it puts some excitement also, right?
Does,
you're
doesn't
like,
it does. It genuinely does.
I just can't, mess around and overthink. I just need to run, right? Like we deployed in 4 minutes each, and we have so many units.
It makes time a resource that you've got to spend wisely. As you say, Clem, you've just got to keep it moving. But on the other side of that is that always when we play with the clock, I'm always exhausted after the game because you're just moving it forward.
Right.
But I think you're right. I think a skill of Kings of War is Kings of War is not sitting there thinking up the optimum decision. And I know people that play Kings of War that's what they enjoy doing. What is the like people do it with Universal Battle?
Yeah.
What is the perfect turn? Whereas as far as I'm concerned, a part of the skill of Kings of War is making good decisions quickly. It's
I
not
agree.
necessarily the perfect, but that's interesting.
agree.
To me, that's very interesting, right?
Yeah, I would rather play a game in under 2 hours than
Exactly.
and make mistakes and
sit
again.
there.
I think there's kind of some excitement to be pushed a bit by the clock and like, oh, I need to move forward. I need to make a decision.
And it somehow feels like messier, more like a real. I know this is silly because we're playing with toy soldiers, but it feels more like a real battle. Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not like you're counting the pixels. Oh,
Exactly.
I could be in your flank or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's a bit messy. It's a bit sweaty. I have to admit.
But I do think you always have been, Clem. You are still better than me with just the angles, right? Just you have a better awareness of the angles than I do, which is.
Well, I mean, you've got flank on my giants. I didn't get any. You didn't make any particular mistakes. To be honest, I think the luck of the dice really played a role because toward the end, my dice really got me what I needed. And I think the only thing you should have won faster on on my right, on your left, and then you could have come back to help the center.
Yes.
But,
or at least I'd just guarantee those 2 tokens. That's really what I was
guaranteeing. Those 2 tokens would have gotten you almost a draw, right?
But I find the huge horde of human clansmen, although they've got more attacks, they seem to disappoint more often than the Hearthguard, and also with a massive base. I mean, the Hearthguard have a heavy.
I mean, they got hindered, right?
They're always getting hindered on their big base.
Always
They're
get
always
them hindered.
You never
People get flanks against them because you can't really position them.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I've got such an elite army. It's very hard to. They're not key to my army, so they're not like the Naiads. I don't spend my whole time worrying about their flanks, right?
But I think it's a good deployment though, right? Like with the 2 snow foxes with the horde. It's just I think the snow foxes need to play more interference so that the horde chooses what happens to it.
The snow foxes either they win me the game, or I misplay them and they don't contribute anything. Yeah. It's really interesting. If I misplay them, it's key.
Like the small squigs that I have is the same. Sometimes it's just like die because they're 9/11 and so
exactly.
just pop off.
Lightning bolt or something.
Exactly. Or sometimes they just go right spot and block everything and save me one turn to reposition everything else around, and that makes a difference. But cool game.
But I mean, the most important thing, buddy, was it was on such a knife edge. I really enjoyed that. It was a brilliant gaming.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
So now where's the crown?
Yes, Clem, you are now officially King MUP. And around about 4 p.m. I think you'll be playing against Andrew and his Night Stalkers.
Yeah. Well,
so good luck. I don't know if Andrew technically counts as a listener. I don't know if he counts as the MUP. Is it MUP? He's part of the MUP.
He is MUP universe. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, that was an interesting game. I think also my list might be a bit more optimized in a way. I'm not saying your list is bad, but I think my list is also a good. It's like both of our lists work well together, right?
Yes, definitely. I mean, my list, it was never designed to be like an optimized list, but I still, within kind of my own parameters, I still think it's a good list.
Good. No, I think it's good. The only thing is, anyone with flyers will hurt you.
Yes. And actually, at Clash of Kings, that's the thing I was most worried about. But actually, more through luck than judgment, if I'm honest. I kind of got away with that. There was a situation where someone landed a Void Lurker without measuring, so I could charge the Hearthguard.
Right, I heard.
There was another situation where somebody charged a dragon into the flank of, I think it was the human clansman, and bounced.
That can happen.
It can happen.
Game over,
And at that point, I look really clever, going, ha, I knew. But it was sort of, and I'm charging your flank. I 100% did not see that. But there we go, Clem. So we played at Quest Hub, and you are now officially King MUP.
Yes. Well, we can also play again this weekend, and you could take the crown again, I think.
Well, I think it's a fluid thing. It's a fluid thing.
It is a very fluid thing.
It really did come down to that double ones, didn't it, Clem?
I think so. I was really sweating. Turn 2 and 3 did not look good for the goblins. Really rough.
But it's the strength of Kings of War. You keep playing, keep doing the right things, and you can pull it back, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Perfect. Good. Thanks, mate. Let's eat some chicken.
Let's go do it.
Thanks, mate.
Nice.